Okay, so Jen and I are talking about the fact that come fall, both of my kids will be in school full time, and then her son will be in school and her daughter will be in nursery 5 days a week part time.
Yeah.
And we are going to have this, I don't want to use the word freedom, but we will have this extra time on our hands that we haven't for, the past 7 years. Which led me to a question I have for you, Jen.
Yeah.
What did you do for yourself before you had kids?
Oh, I worked and I sat in traffic going to and from work. And then I would come home, immediately change into sweats, watch stupid TV, sleep, repeat. But, I was up at the butt crack. And then do people say that? Is that inappropriate to say on the podcast? I was up really
I swear
early.
on the podcast. No one cares.
And then would sit in anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours of traffic one way, work all day, come home to the same type of traffic. One day it took me 4 hours to get home. So that was cool. And so I worked, but we did travel a bit, like we were in Florida multiple times a month because I worked for an airline. So we, tried to.
Did you say multiple times a month?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you've out-tripped me then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There were some, I would say there were some months like we were gone 3 weekends of the month. Yeah. Good times.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So that was your fun, is you went to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to Disney every time?
Jay's parents at the time, I think everyone knows by now, his name is Jay. His parents at the time lived in South Florida. So sometimes we would go down there to like Fort Lauderdale area to see them. Otherwise, we'd go to Disney. Sometimes if we didn't have passes or whatever, we just like stay around the resorts and do like a 36-hour trip or something like that. We did also do like Vegas, San Francisco, Mexico, Chicago. So like we would try to mix it up here and there, but most of the time it was Florida related.
So your fun was traveling.
Yeah.
I try to think what I did to relax. And I know I played with makeup a lot. Okay. And then I watched TV.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. Like I came home and I watched E! News to see what's going on with the celebrities. And then I watched stupid TV and then I went to sleep. I mean,
all the time that we could have taken advantage of that we didn't before kids. We just didn't know any better.
Oh. We
just didn't know. So, you'll have more time to what I like to call take care of yourself.
What?
I know. It's just something that's been around for a while. What do you think that you can add into your life come fall that's just for you?
Oh, I have no clue. I think about, I was telling Angela prior to hitting record how, initially I will probably cry a bit because it's my first time in 7 years, literally, that during the week there is no child in this house for a set number of hours. I have not had that in 7 years. So that'll be an adjustment for me and it's change.
You'll like knock on Jay's door in the office, be like, what you doing?
How many calls do you have? You want to like hang out or can
you like have a temper tantrum or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you ask me for the blue cup?
You need more snacks? No. Yeah. So I was thinking, so there will be a period of adjustment, but I think recording podcasts will probably happen during the day. So this podcast, as well as Theme Park Thursday, will probably be recorded during the day.
Yep.
Maybe I might have some time to zone into some social media. So normally when I'm juggling doing 100 things that take me all day long, I could probably knock it out real quick because I won't be juggling.
In like a half day.
Right. So it'll be perfect. So far I'm only thinking of things like that to do. I'm not thinking of like, ooh, I'll have time for myself. Like, yes. I don't know.
You're thinking of a lot of have tos.
Yeah.
Not want to. So I'd like for you to start thinking of that now.
Yeah.
So by fall, you'll have maybe like 2 want tos in there.
That's a big ask.
Like I want to get a pedicure every month. I want to.
Speaking of, I'm going to get one really soon for the first time since before the pandemic. And I'm so excited.
I cannot remember my last pedicure.
Yeah.
Years. It's been years.
Years?
years.
Do you not like pedicures, or do you just not?
I just don't do it. I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
Let's go get one. And
Yeah.
then we'll FaceTime each other and be like,
Okay.
I'm getting a pedicure right now.
Yeah.
And then it's like we're getting one together.
I love that, because I would say back in those travel days, every time I would like be going somewhere, I'd be like, yeah, my toes have to look good because I'm going to warm areas and my feet will be out. Then I have kids and I'm like, once or twice a year, cool. Can we just fix these up? And then I'll just repaint them as I go. It's fine.
Exactly.
And then pandemic hits and I'm like, ew. So now though, I'm like, okay, I gotta do that. I gotta get my eyebrows waxed. I have not done that since. Thank you. But if you look closely, there's a lot of hairs underneath, and they have become, this is very exciting stuff, everybody. Hold on. So my eyebrow hairs have become,
I'm living for it.
So like fine that I cannot even like pluck them. Like they refuse to come out. And it's driving me insane. But I always would wax them because I feel like that would do the best job. I tried threading once. I didn't like it. That would do the best job, but I haven't done that either since before the pandemic. So.
Okay. So what I started doing, okay. So when I was in college, I was one of those people that I'm like, actually, funny enough, I've only ever gotten my eyebrows waxed once in my entire life. Entire life. But then when I'm in college, I went through that phase that I feel like most women go to, where you over pluck.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was over plucking. Sure. It's just like, it starts off very gradually and then, you just get to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then my friend Liz came to visit me at school, and God bless Liz, because she just gave it to me straight. She's like, Angela, I remember this so vividly. We were sitting in like the eating area where there's like a bunch of fast food things and we're eating. And she's like, Angela, I have to tell you something. I'm like, oh, okay. Like thinking it's something so serious. She's like, your eyebrows look like tadpoles. Like, oh, she's like, yeah, you're over plucking them. And again, God bless the Liz's in your life who are going to give it to you straight.
Yes.
Because from that day on, I stopped plucking them and just went into maintenance mode. Yeah. And then I'd say about a year ago, I started trimming my eyebrows.
Yeah, totally.
And I didn't know that was a thing. I watched a tutorial on it. I feel like that was the big game changer in my life, was the trimming.
Yeah, I'll trim them as well because mine get very like long. So I like brush them all up and I'm like, bam.
Yes.
Trim. Yeah. And I don't think I did do that always. At some point, whenever I had changed to whoever was waxing my eyebrows, they did that once. And I was like, wait a second, that's an excellent idea. I need to do that.
Pro tip. Okay. So now we're talking about shaving and trimming. So have you seen the shaver for your face that looks like a big lipstick tube?
I have not.
Okay. So I don't get a lot of facial hair. Like, like some people need to get them waxed, like whatever, do your thing. I just don't get enough of them to need to wax like my chin or whatever, but I get some like to the right of my lip and I'll just get like 2 or 3 dark hairs there.
Yeah.
Just probably once a month. And they have this shaver. Actually, they sell it at Target now. First saw it at Bed Bath & Beyond, but you can get it on Amazon too. Looks like a big lipstick tube.
Yeah.
And it just like, it's like a circular razor and it just like shaves that peach fuzz.
That's cute.
Doesn't leave any irritation. I suggest that for like any women. You can also do it like between your eyebrows if you have a little bit of room. Yeah, I mean, I could go into bikini waxes at this point, but I do know that we have male listeners.
Yeah.
So, we'll just save that and maybe do like a trigger warning at the beginning.
Right.
Like
for
maybe
next
you don't
time.
want to listen to that. Yeah.
I do have one more shaving question, then we can move on from it.
Yes, please.
Do you shave your arms?
I don't. I think there was a point where all the girls in high school were shaving their feet and their toes because they were really self-conscious about the hair that was growing there. And some had really dark foot hair. So I think there was like twice where I shaved my toes and I'm like, this is dumb. Like, don't look that hard, freaks. Like, why are you shaming us about our toe hair?
Right.
So no, I never did shave my arms, but I do know that celebrities get it lasered off. Their hair on their arms.
Yeah.
What about you?
I shave my arms.
You do?
I do. I don't remember when it started. maybe college age-ish, maybe right after, I don't know. But, I got my mom's Irish skin with like my dad's dark features. So
I
like
get
the
it.
pale skin with like
Yes.
dark arm hair, it just wasn't doing it for me. So yeah.
Okay, are you like a forearm shaver and that's where you stop, or do you go all the way up?
I will, it depends on the season. I mean, in winter, let's be real, it's not happening
We're
that
wearing
often
long
regardless.
sleeves all year.
But I feel like the upper arm doesn't need it as often as the lower half.
Kind of like the upper leg doesn't need it
right.
as often. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so I'll typically do more of the lower half than the upper half. I'm showing Angela my arms right now as if everyone, so in case she doesn't understand what an arm is.
Yes, I get it. I understand. Thank you for the demonstration though.
Sure.
I was confused.
Yeah.
One more pro tip before we move on. I did not understand like the beauty of exfoliating before you shave. Like, yeah, I think I did it at some point when I had time in college, but like the exfoliating glove that you can get at Target. Oh my gosh, makes such a difference.
I don't think I've done that. I should do that.
Okay, well, I had an ingrown hair issue, below, and my sister-in-law is like, yep, you just need to use the exfoliating glove every other day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I started using it, and now every other day I get that, I call it chicken scratch on my arms. It's like, if you guys have it, you know what I'm talking about. It's the little bumps on your arms.
I get that too.
And like my brother has fairer skin, so his is more noticeable and more red, like little red dots. But I'm tan right now, so you can't really see it. But I'll use the glove on my arms. I'll use it like on my armpits and my legs before I shave, and just sloughs off all. I love that word, sloughs. It sloughs off all that dead skin. So you just get a nice little close shave, and then you don't get the ingrown hairs once things grow back, which we all know is an issue, ladies especially. So. Sorry, guys. I knew I brought it to the episode. I didn't even warn you. I just threw it in there.
Fine. That's not too detailed. It's fine.
I am who I am. It's just that's what I tell Michael when like we're walking through the Target parking lot and I jump on the cart. Like, you run and then you jump and it kind of and it gets embarrassed. That's what I tell him. I am who I am.
Right. You knew what you were getting. Come on.
So Jennifer.
Yes.
We kind of teased something in the last episode. We teased maybe a possible Disney trip.
This is true. We did.
Do we have an announcement?
Sure. We can make an announcement.
All right. I'm going to drink my lemon water while you talk.
Oh, sure. No problem. So let's see. When this episode drops, I am days away from starting a road trip.
That's right.
That will then end with a Disney trip. So I'm very excited. So yes, I will be in Disney with the fam in early July.
This has been years in the making for a family trip.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I am excited.
Oh my God, I almost don't believe you.
Because I'm Dilloing it.
Yeah.
I am excited. I'm like right now, okay. So once we started talking about doing it, I started making lists in my phone of just everything. So I feel like I've had lists going for so long. And now I'm like, now it's time to start implementing these lists. So now I'm like overthinking everything. But I am very excited and almost like, am I going to get emotional on the trip? Because it's like first trip back post-pandemic, first trip for the kids in a few years. They're so much older now and they appreciate things so much more. And there's
a lot riding on this.
There's a lot happening. Also, not trying to set up too many expectations because it's July. It's so hot. It's gross. And, I just need to get through the days as well.
Right. Are you at like the overwhelmed stage where you can't be excited yet?
Yes, I feel like I don't. Okay. So Frank and I have talked about this, that like there was a point where I used to just never get excited about things because I was too afraid of them not happening. So then I would just be like, I'm not even going to look forward to anything. It's a great way to go through life. I highly recommend it. But
I get it.
Then I switched it over a bit. So now I kind of feel like I'm in the middle of like, I'm excited, but I'm not going to let myself get too excited. So like I kind of am in the middle, but like now I'm Plus, June has been very busy. It started off with my son's birthday, and like there are just things to do constantly. And I'm like, I got to get through that. I got to get through that. I got to get through that. And then I'm good. So I feel like my focus is now becoming on the trip and packing. And plus, it's a road trip, and we have not done that kind of road trip before. So there's a lot in my head on a daily basis.
You know, Mama Terry is like that to a certain degree, where she lived her life where she would imagine how the experience would be in such great detail that she would be disappointed when it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
So now she tries to keep her expectations really low. So kind of similar to you, not really, a little bit. There's a follow-up question. Have you told the kids?
Yes. So we hadn't told them for a while. Plus, that's probably another sign of dillowing it. Just of like, what if something changes? What if they start shutting things down again? What if I don't know anymore? But we had been telling people around us. And my son one day on one of his Google Meets with his class was like, I'm going to Disney in July. And his teacher was one of the people I told because we had a recent parent-teacher conference. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to think that I told him. And I didn't. No, he's just psychic. And so I like message her on the side of me, like, he's just saying that. He doesn't actually know. But I was like, you know what? Enough people know at some point someone's going to say something and they're going to be like, what? So I think it was Memorial Day was the weekend before my son's birthday. Because that was it too. It was like, then it's going to be his birthday. When is the good time to tell them? We knew they are not the kids. Well, my son definitely is not the kid to tell in the car on the way. He's not that kid. He would not do well with
freak
that.
out.
So we had, So I had gotten, I don't remember what we were looking at, Disney pictures or something. And I was like, we should start a photo album of all of our Disney trips, which I have been saying since we took my son at 5 months old never did.
It never happens.
Just like I was going to do a photo album each year of their life. They don't have any. So
we're still working on Jay's.
There you go. So I was like, maybe we'll get a photo album and I'll start printing the pictures from all the trips. So I started doing that. And then I was like, and then at the end, because I would put like a card with the date before each grouping of pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I was like, at the end, we'll put July 2021. So I brought out the book and I was like, oh, you know what? We didn't show Daddy all the pictures. We have to show him. So like they're looking through and they're like, let's start at the beginning. I'm like, okay. So we have to go through 8 trips. I took a couple of pictures. So we go through, and then at the end, my son like looks and he kind of glances like July, and then he was like, looks at it again, but he's like kind of confused. I'm like, what does that say? And he's like, July 2021. And then he looks at me and then he looks at the book and he's like, what? Wait, what? And I was like, what does that mean? And then he's like, oh, we're going to Disney. And then my daughter's like still like, what is happening?
She's like side-eye Cleo or Chloe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send you the video because it's exactly what's happening. And then but I had this selfie video set up like in front of them as we were looking through the whole album. So then he was like, okay, bye, and like turned off the recording, and I started recording again, but then they were hamming it up and I'm like, forget it. So yes, they now know. They're very excited, but they know. Mm-hmm.
Well, gosh, your daughter doesn't even remember it from last time.
I know. She's gone 4 times in her life. She's 4 years old.
That's
However,
crazy.
It was those 4 times happened in the first year and a half of her life.
That's wild to me. I mean, I totally get it. That's my kid's life too. But I mean, she's really going to get it this time.
Yes. And she's obsessed with princesses and she's obsessed with it. I mean, she loves it. So,
you're going at such a good time though, because, they just announced today while we're recording that the fireworks are coming back.
I know.
Which makes me a little anxious, but I'm like,
oh yeah.
And the masks, you don't have to wear them if you're vaccinated, which isn't going to stop, either of us with our kids wearing them because they're obviously not vaccinated. But I mean, as far as the heat and outside and whatnot, I mean, that just really limits you to like cues and indoors.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm definitely keeping masks with me for those times. I mean, I'm still wearing masks if we go to stores around here. My daughter does like a ninja class and a gymnastics class at this little gym, and they just recently were like, we're not requiring the kids to wear masks anymore. You can still do it. And I'm like, yeah, she's going to keep hers on. Thanks. And so it's like half and half, where some kids have taken them off and some haven't. And I'm like, we'll just play it out a little longer. She's fine with it. So like, she had so many weeks of having to wear it during these classes that it's like, it's fine. But I am happy that like in the July Orlando heat,
right,
walking around, we don't have to wear them. That's makes me happy, especially for them.
Now, are you pro packing cube or like neutral?
Say packing cube? Is that what
I know this is kind of out of left field, but like I was just thinking about how organized, you kind of have to be to road trip it, and you're going to make stops along the way. Mm-hmm. So are you a packing cuber? I am very pro packing cube.
I don't even know what that means.
Do you not know about packing cubes?
No.
Oh my gosh, do I get to expose you?
Yeah.
Okay. A packing cube it goes in your luggage, and they're just like little square fabric bags.
I do know what that is. I think you had it in one of your videos.
I had a couple.
And I think Frank has one of those too.
I love my packing
I do not.
cubes. I got mine off Amazon.
Yeah.
Maybe one from like TJ Maxx, one from Amazon. It doesn't honestly matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I sort the kids' clothes and contain them.
Yeah.
And so I just like to find out people's like packing methods.
I see.
I like to stay organized when I pack. Michael throws all of his stuff in a bag and calls it good. And it drives me bananas because I just need organization.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely way more organized because I saw you like setting up entire outfits, which is a brilliant idea. I don't think for this trip I'll be doing that because we'll technically be away for 2 full weeks.
Right.
So like, especially with like shorts and stuff like that, I'm going to be re-wearing and reusing and all of that.
Laundry.
Yes. So, but I do have certain shirts and dresses for like the kids that are Disney specific. We're not wearing these until we're in Disney.
We're locking these up.
Yes, exactly. They will be in a separate part of the suitcase and they will be in their own thing and we will not touch those. And they were like, can we try it on? I'm like, let me see your hands. Let me see your faces. Fine. Try it on quickly and then take it off and that's fine.
And then I need to iron it. Put it away.
Exactly. So that's the only thing, but I do in the car have all these like ideas of setting things up because I want to make sure we have activities and it's not just like iPad for a million hours at a time and all of that kind of stuff.
You've told me at one point, because you guys do these really long day trips, which I love. And like, that sounds like torture to me, but we need to become those people because like, we just don't do things like that. And I want to. You've told me at one point that your kids color in the car. How does that work? Like, do they have a thing that they color on or?
Right. So, different ways, I guess. Usually they'll just use something to like lean on and sometimes they'll draw or color, but I mean, I have coloring books. They tend to be kids that like the pages ripped out instead of just coloring in the book, which is great. And I also, for this trip, I did a little dollar store haul. So I now have like sketchbooks as well. And I'm going to be like, you keep all your pictures right here in this sketchbook. We don't need to rip these out and you can lean on it. It's great. So I bought 2 clipboards as well from the dollar store because I figured if they were tearing out like a coloring book page or something, I could put that on the clipboard and they can have it. I used to have, I think from Amazon, it was like a softer desk looking thing that went over the car seat. And I have had that before. I felt like that just caused more trouble than anything else, but we have done that before. Yeah. And I think that's it too. But I did for this trip purchase a 2-pack on Amazon of the things that hang on the back of the front seats that have pockets, and you can also slide the
Yes.
iPad in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and my kids like me get car sick. And that's like the only way that my daughter can like watch a movie on her iPad and not get sick. Those are the best.
That's
Except the only problem is that they can't actually reach anything.
Yeah, I know. I worry about that. But at least it's easier for you to reach, right? Because you're just kind of going behind as opposed to like digging.
It is so funny on car trips how it's like we each have a designated role. My husband wants to be the driver because he knows that it's just easier for me to be like the co-commander and get the kids what they need. Okay, there you guys are fighting. All right, I can tackle that. Oh, you need more goldfish. All right, here you go. You need some water. It's just easier for me to cater to them and him drive. Yeah. Because if we did it the other way around, it's just like I'm a terrible driver and he just can't handle all the needs.
Right. I get that.
So I think that we need a TikTok of ways to keep kids busy in the car.
Yeah, I think I was thinking of that obviously in my content head of like, oh, I think I need to be taking like videos of steps when I actually like get all these things together, because I think I will also be reusing some of the things we were using for school this year that I got from like the Target dollar spot last year of like the little holders for like you could put a bunch of workbooks in and stuff like that, and like the little dollies and put little things like that in there. So I want to have those like in between their seats so they can kind of access stuff like that.
Good idea.
So yeah, I think we'll do some videos about that. And
are you gonna do like a cooler at all?
I'm debating. I am going to buy some like more non-perishable things to like take with us. Plus they're both picky eaters. So like I kind of want to have some of that stuff once we get to, so we're going to North Carolina first and staying with friends for a weekend. And then we're going to Orlando, but staying with friends for a week. And so during that time, I might do like an Amazon Fresh order or whatever for a lot of like their food that I would need to freeze or refrigerate or whatever. But I will probably be having snacks and things like that. I was thinking about maybe some sort of cooler, maybe, but like a small one just for like the initial drive.
Worry about keeping it cold.
Right. So TBD on that. We'll see how things are going with my crazy. But I also have things in my head, like I might bring a storage bucket for the trunk that has like some of the food that like we're not going to be using, but also has like some games, some books, things like that we'll be using more when we're staying at friends' houses, that they can, you know, play with stuff, but not necessarily in the car.
Yeah, like sand toys or pool toys or whatever. I like that. I think when it comes to what we bring, we really bring like maybe breakfast stuff like granola, or like breakfast bars or applesauce pouches.
Yes. Oh, pouches. Like that. Yes.
Yeah. Because that makes you feel like, okay, I gave you something healthy.
Right.
Like
Here's your veggies. That's great. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be going to Costco and getting like their little Kirkland veggie fruit combo pouches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got your spinach. Okay. Mom of the year.
Good job. So good. Exciting. But we used to have like when my son was little, because I feel like we probably traveled even more back then, coming off of the airline going, we can still live this life, right? That I would have a bin in the garage of like stuff I had just picked up from like the dollar spot or whatever. And as he got a little older, sometimes they'd be used for bribes and sometimes they'd be used for trips. Or I had cut, you know, because Pinterest is my best friend. So I think I saw one time you could cut up sponges in different shapes. Yeah. And then they can build with them. And we had those on the plane one time for him and like all these different things. So I'm always thinking of like activities for them to do in the car. I bought, I'm just rambling now. So I bought these little cases from Michael's that, you know, snap shut, that I'm going to glue one of those Lego plates on the top of it.
Yes.
And then put Legos in
Legos inside. Yes. I've always wanted to do that.
Yes. So I'm definitely doing that, because I mean, my son especially is a huge Lego kid. My daughter every once in a while, but I feel like also in the car, it's a good thing to take out and play with, and it's not going to go everywhere.
What else are you going to do in the car?
I have the sketchbooks. I have the Legos. I have workbooks that I had picked up as well. I have some, where is it, over here somewhere? What are those like old, for us, old games where like you would push the rings and you have to like get it on the thing.
And it's
like
in water.
Yeah. Like I have like those that we can do.
And then
they'll
like
probably
food.
Yes.
I mean, food is going to take up time.
Food,
snacking.
yeah, always. I'll have books because I feel like they've both stacked up books that they want to bring. I also downloaded, because we were at our library yesterday and they took out, I was like, let's only take out a couple of books because we're going to have to return them before next Friday anyway. We walked out with a stack. But I got the list for like second grade and pre-K books to read over the summer. And there are apps where you can like borrow books, but it's through the library, kind of like if you have a library card or whatever. So I'll probably put those. So that would technically be some iPad time too, if they did that. And so I'm just trying to like mix it up a little bit. I have to also go through, because I've been collecting things over the last 2 months or so that I have to see what I actually have and then set that up in there.
My kids and I I got Audible probably in March. March. And we've been loving listening to the audiobooks.
Nice.
Like that's been huge for us. What you could do, like, is it like a 14-day trial, or you could do like a month free or something for Audible? My kids have really been loving the Rebecca books. She's like Rebecca, like Girl Detective or whatever, but they have like a bunch of boy ones too.
Yeah.
So we listen to that in the car on the way to places. They'll ask for me to turn on different audiobooks. Cool. Yeah. And then, we've gone through like Matilda and The Witches. We've done the Boxcar Children. And a lot of these books are free. Some I buy with my credits. But I mean, that would almost put them to sleep too for nap time.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's a good idea. And these apps that I just downloaded with the library, they're Hoopla and Overdrive, and they do audiobooks too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Overdrive.
So I can do that too. Yeah, that's a good idea, because I'll have their headphones too I do not want to be listening to their movies or their games or whatever they end up doing on the iPad. So, and but I have
Libby. I hear Libby is another audiobook one.
I feel like I just saw something about Libby.
Overdrive and Libby are the other two I know about.
Yes.
And you know about Overdrive. But that's been really big.
Yeah. So I feel like I did when we started the school year, and I sent you that picture of like, oh my God, I've gone overboard with everything I bought for like a homeschool setup. I feel like that's right. But now that's what's happening again, just for the road trip. So I have like 2 or 3 bags that have been like in the garage of stuff, and I need to go through and see what I actually had purchased over time. So we'll see what kind of activities.
It's an exciting thing.
But you're going too, again. That's also exciting.
I know. This, you guys, this is our last one for a while. Okay?
Yeah.
We work around my husband's work schedule, and he plans it like over a year in advance. So we just kind of have to take vacation whenever. So yes, he'll take my daughter to Colorado.
Yeah.
And then my son and I, or my son in general, has never been on a trip with a parent.
Yeah.
I've taken my daughter to Florida a couple of times, so she's kind of had that parent bonding experience, but my son never has. And I was thinking, where could I take him? And Michael's like, why don't you take him to Seattle? And just like, I got major anxiety thinking about taking him somewhere I had never been.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, what's safe? Let's take him to Florida. And it was going to be Legoland. I think we talked about it on the podcast. I do remember that. It was going to be Legoland, but it was just so expensive. 2 days was like $1,500 with tickets and everything. And it was just like way more outrageous than staying, doing Disney or Universal or whatever. So we're doing a day at Universal and a day at Disney.
Okay.
And then we're staying off property. We're staying between the two.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what to do the day that we get in, because we get in the afternoon, and it's like, I don't really just want to stay at the hotel. So maybe we'll do Disney Springs or something. I don't think he would get much out of City Walk because he's 5.
Right.
So
you do the Lego store at Disney Springs, and it's like a little mini Legoland. There you go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. We'll do that. And then I'll find like dinner reservation somewhere.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well,
I know. I feel like we talked really fast.
I think so too. I'm like, well, we have 13 minutes, but do we need 13 minutes?
I know, but we also are going live in 13 minutes as this is being recorded for our Dillo sibling reunion. So we were also like watching the clock here. So we went to super speed.
And we missed last month.
Yes.
Apparently it just flew by last month. Just
I know.
like June is flying by. So make sure that you head to any of our YouTube channels to watch.
Yes, for sure.
But I more suggest the Dillos because the Angela Dahlgren one doesn't have much.
It's amazing, and the people want more.
Have much
the people want more.
Head to my Instagram instead. There's a lot more going on there.
So many reels. We're going to talk about it on live. I'm excited.
Don't have to.
We are going to.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give us a review on iTunes if you'd like. Our last episode, we talked about Disney stuff.
Yeah, you did a Disney trip recap.
Yeah, right? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So you can feel free to listen to that after this. And we hope you're having a great day, night, whatever you are doing. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Magical Mommy Monday. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday. The music in this episode was produced by Matt Harvey. We'll see you next time.